Breaking Dawn Part 1 is the second to last in the whole Twilight saga. How do you guys feel about this big project drawing towards a close?
I mean, it feels like the filming process is over for me, but it doesn't really feel like it's coming to a close yet. We still have one more year and one more film, so I'm just really excited to promote this part 1, and it does. I think next year this time it'll feel like it's coming to a complete end.
Yeah, I mean, it was so surreal when we wrapped, and, you know, it felt like it was never going to end, and we had just been, you know, on location for so many months, and then it was immediately kind of sad, too. There's something bittersweet about it ending, but, you know, we have a whole other round of this next year, and these movies are so good. I mean, we just saw Part 1, and it's so good. Like, I just can't wait for Part 2.
Was it really fun to see it?
Yeah, and I didn't think that I was going to have that experience with it, just because when you've worked on something for so long, it's like you can't really, it's hard to remain a fan in a way because you're so inside of it, and because it's like going to work, you know. And then seeing this movie, I was completely sucked into the story, and I just couldn't believe how great it was, and scary and thrilling, and Kristen was just so great.
How did being cast in Twilight, in the whole saga, how did that affect both of your lives? How did that change things for you guys?
I don't know. It feels like we've been in this bubble for so long that I haven't really been able to step outside of it and appreciate it. It's like we've shot 5 movies in 3 years, and we're still kind of in that bubble. So I mean, for me, I've gotten a lot busier. I've been flying more places and meeting more fans.
Frequent flyer miles are good.
And the fan base has exposed a lot more of my work, my previous work, to more fans. And but other than changing me, I don't feel like I've changed much. Maybe my life has changed a little bit.
Yeah, I don't have an awareness of the change in a way. I mean, I know that things have changed, and I think, you know, when I started realizing, it took me I think we were shooting the 3rd movie before I realized how big Twilight was, which I know is insane.
When we were shooting that, she's like, I think this is a big deal.
You didn't know before that?
I had no clue. I'm just not in the world in that way. I don't know what it. I was just being a little older or something. I just wasn't aware of it. I know the premieres were a big deal and people went and saw the movies, but I was really shocked somewhere along in the 3rd shooting Eclipse. I was like, this movie's crazy big.
Yeah, it was weird.
Everyone was like, yeah.
Have you been living under a rock?
Yeah.
Both of you guys, basically, one of your main roles in this movie is parents of the groom, kind of. I mean, adoptive pseudo-parents. Do you feel like that's given you good practice for real life?
No.
I feel like I have 3 kids, so I draw on Carlisle a lot because, you know, Carlisle's very compassionate and very patient. And a lot of times I'll be with my kids, I'll be like, I have to be more like Carlisle right now. Be a little more patient with them and be a little more compassionate.
Do they ever say, like, hey, why can't you be more like Carlisle?
No, they never say that.
Well, he is, because he really has to, like, fight his animal nature in a way, and he's the one who's really mastered it so tremendously.
Yeah. He's got a lot of willpower,
for
sure. I mean, it's interesting because they're docile in the sense that they're not animalistic and they don't go out and you know, feed on humans. They could be looked at as weak. I always looked at the Cullens as being extremely stronger than the normal vampire, because vampires are just doing what they were bred to do, what they were made to do. And we're basically fighting every animal instinct at every moment to continue being holding on to our human
that's
nature.
what I find extremely compelling about the characters.